Last but not least, we have Steph Francis with her talk, Work in Progress. Yeah. So Steph is a creative problem solver who loves working at the junction of design, technology, and human needs. She is currently a service and interaction designer at Fjord, Dublin, and she has over 10 years' experience evolving with the landscape of designing and building tools and systems from community carpooling to the airport experience of the future. So put your hands together, everyone, for Steph.
Hi. So, context. I've lived in Dublin most of my adult life. This is at the end of my road, and this sums up Dublin and Ireland for me right now. It's complex, it's kind of, arguing with itself, and it's got loads of room to improve. It's a work in progress. What about the future for Dublin is what I've been wondering about. So let's go back in time, because that's always a good place to look at the future. And we'll go back 20 years to a slice of life where I was dealing with cool interactive magazines and festivals were becoming a thing, and I was trying to figure out why bendy buses existed, and I still don't know. We were all getting PCs and we were getting the internet at home, which was really exciting, and digital agencies were cropping up around Dublin and doing really cool, interesting work. We had master's programs that were starting up. All sorts of cool stuff was starting to happen. But that was 20 years ago. Ooh. Ireland has changed. You might say it has even matured. Socially, demographically, physically. And for some, it's a more just and a fair place to be. It's offering opportunities and a fresh start for a lot of people. Design, as well, has kind of shifted along with that and matured. And we have a broad range of disciplines. We have designers at the C-level. We've got governments investing in design practice. And we have professionals in the field with nearly 30 years of experience to draw from, which is pretty cool. And Dublin is not immune to this maturity. We have more opportunities, jobs, community events like this, conferences, professional training, even universities are offering more and more opportunities. And we have that famous seat at the table. So, everything is pretty cool, right? Everything is awesome. We've got design thinking everywhere. We've got design everywhere. Designers all over the place, all in one room, which is probably dangerous. Who thinks the future here is going to be awesome? Oh, that's probably more optimistic than the people that answered my survey, which said, yeah, it's okay, but this stuff. And I kind of wanted to think about what can we in this room do about any of this, because it might seem a bit big and a bit far away. So I have some ideas about our impact and potential impact. And I'm going to start with principles. Why principles? Well, what matters to you? What matters to us? And are we bringing that into our work? Are we bringing it to choosing the work we want to do? And are we bringing it to our daily choices in general? And intent. What is the intention of the thing that you're designing and making and putting into the world? Does the planet need it? What are the unintended consequences of the thing that you're making? And is it flexible enough to outlive us, to survive when we're older, when our needs change? Or is this thing disposable and throwaway? Is it truly human-centered? Is research at the core of your design practice? Why isn't it? Is it flexible? Are we thinking about the plural rather than the individual? The multiple people in different countries, contexts, abilities, everything that we've seen on this stage tonight, are we thinking beyond? Are we thinking ahead? And while we're doing that, are we thinking about ourselves and our fellow designers who are dealing with empathy, which is really hard and sometimes even triggering and stressful when we need to go fully holistic on this human-centric stuff and look after ourselves? And we got to free ourselves, because last year, every adult in the US apparently spent an hour on Instagram. So I will leave that with you to do the math on this room and a bit of self-reflection. It's a really, really bad return of investment on our time and resources. And we're also losing this ability to space out, which is this cognitive thing that allows us to process loads of information. And we're also losing the ability to imagine with that. And as futurists will say, if you cannot imagine the future, you cannot build a future, and you definitely can't imagine an alternative and better future. Community is something I've believed in for a long time, and community is this. It's conferences, it's the stuff that we can't take for granted and we need to embrace and support and get behind, because it's where we can learn from each other, we can share burdens, we can actually offload, we can find ways to navigate problems, we can collaborate, we can find things to work together. Ní neart gur cur le chéile. Strength in numbers. And breathe. Take action. So we shape our tools and our tools shape us. Has that followed anybody else around their entire life as a designer? Yes, because it's true. We here in this room have worked on tools, systems, processes, interfaces, bits and pieces that people use daily and will use into the future, even beyond when we thought they would finish using it. Are we thinking about that? It's stuff that we will do again and again, and we really need to think about that. And taking action is fantastic for relieving frustration, trust me. So this is just some of the stuff that gives me kind of hope about, yeah, you can go take action even if you can't do it in your daily work. Shout out to people, I don't know if they're in the room, but like, this is action and it's amazing. So, this room is buzzing with passionate, smart, creative communicators, visionaries, creative people who know how to put people at the center of things, who believes in this statement, that if we are to survive, we must design our way out of this. Anybody? Does anybody actually believe this? Cool, because I want to join with people here in this room and beyond this room to design a future for all, by all. Is anybody else interested in this? Amazing. Ethan Marcotte, I'm going over time, I'm sorry. Ethan Marcotte said in a talk last year that really stuck with me, that we don't talk enough about the power in design. And as we know, with great power comes great responsibility. So I want us to embrace that responsibility and see it as an opportunity. Let's work together and build the future that we all deserve and that we all want, and it'll be amazing. Thank you.